I'm Indy Neidell.
I'm Spartacus Olsson.
And this is another TimeGhost public service announcement. Although it's mostly about our channel, World War II in real time. And before I say anything further, spoilers.
It's 50 days until Pearl Harbor when we record this. So we're about to start the countdown towards the Japanese attack.
Which is also then 50 days until the Japanese attacked on Thailand, British Malaya, bombing Singapore, Wake Island, Guam, the Philippines. 50 days for all those too.
Wasn't that December 8th?
Yes, it was December 8th, but December 8th time in Japan is December 7th in Hawaii. It was all at the same time, but there's like a 19-hour time difference. I think it's either 18 and a half or 19 and a half hours because Hawaii in 1941 was one of those half-hour time zones, which is really convenient.
Which has created a lot of confusion for us actually while writing the scripts and getting it all right since we're doing it minute by minute. And last week we had a full working session here at our place with Irina from Poland and Wieke from the Netherlands and Mikolaj from Poland as well, our art director.
Wait, hang on a second. Insert photos.
Oh, yeah. And they have been continuing to work to get it all together, to take the beautiful images of Indy with the archive footage and all of the other things that go into it. And one of the things that we're going to do is going to revolutionize the way that historical documentaries are done. We're going to use a gaming engine to recreate some of the events, well, mainly the military events during the attack.
Yeah, it's going to be Pac-Man because it's a Japanese thing, so we're using the Pac-Man gaming engine.
No, that is not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is that we're going to work together with World of Warships and World of Warplanes, both features from wargaming.net. And we're going to actually have them animate the scenes where, like, for instance, the torpedo hits the California or the Nevada leaves port and starts steaming out. So mixed up with the maps and the archive footage and colorized pictures and all of those things, we're going to let history come alive in a way that is never done before.
Yeah, and there's also personal recollections and stuff, but people have done that before. But this is going to be the biggest mix. And it's also minute by minute by minute, which I think is pretty new. And this means that if we don't win, like, the Emmy for Best Documentary, I'm punching somebody in the mouth. Punching everybody in the mouth. Actually, I'm going to go around punch. It's like a different kind of Pac-Man. Instead of like eating them, I'm going to follow him around and just punch him in the mouth, just like that. What do you think?
I think you might get in trouble for that one, Indy. I thought we were like trying to tell people violence is bad.
Okay, well, to avoid that violence, then everybody should see our thing and we should win all the awards. I don't really care about the awards. I just care about everybody seeing it. But actually, that leads me to something I was talking to Sparty about. Now, we're obviously going to do a press blitz and talk to all of our contacts all over the world in different countries and different media outlets. But particularly since this is obviously going to be something that is more relevant to, say, Americans than to, say, South Africans, although it's going to be really good. Any of our fans and friends out there in America, please tell your local press agencies, your local newspaper, your local TV, what is going to be coming on. I mean, you'll be able to see the trailers and teasers, and they explain it pretty well. Because we want all the press we can get in the States over this, because there's plenty of people out there, particularly older people, that don't regularly watch YouTube and would not normally find this minute-by-minute documentary series.
And it is going to be the most complete documentary that covers Pearl Harbor ever made, because we're literally going minute by minute. So it's blow by blow, hit by hit.
But there's also plenty of time between events to go over all, like, the technology and the lead up and the build up for the last 20 years before this, going through Japanese and American politics and diplomacy, going back for years, doing little bios of some of the main characters and stuff and explaining, how we got to this point. Of course, the Japanese other plans for the rest of the Southeast Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere, which again is a terrible name for a band, but was what the Japanese wanted to call all of the area that they took over in Southeast Asia.
And of course, we're going to cover those attacks as well. Although the 5 hours are going to be mainly about the attack on Pearl Harbor, we are going to cover tons of events that went down in the Pacific starting on that day. So basically, this shifts our whole series to a global perspective.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten criticism sometimes for not covering China enough, but there's a really deep misunderstanding there. The Chinese-Japanese situation was really 37, 38 more than anything else. And between 39 and 42, that situation is kind of stuck in the mud. Which
there are battles and they last for a week or 2 weeks, but there's not stuff that happens 52 weeks of the year. We don't cover Norway 52 weeks of the year. We don't even cover what's going on in occupied France 52 weeks of the year.
Or North Africa, for that matter, because it's the same situation. So we come back to things when there's heavy action. But that is about to change.
Okay, but this is a TimeGhost public service announcement. So what's going on this here TimeGhost channel?
Well, these things are connected as well. As we just talked about, we've been working very intensely on getting Pearl Harbor done. So it's been a little bit choppy. You've seen a couple of public service announcements coming up instead of regular videos, but that too is about to change starting next week. Right, Indy?
Right, because Between Two Wars Season 2, The Zeitgeist, premieres next week. We shot the first few episodes when I was down with Sparty and them a couple of weeks ago, and it's good. It's going to have a different flavor and different character from the Season 1. As we said, Season 1 was a lot more politics and war, but of course there's a lot more going on in an era, in an epoch, than just politics and war, although history tends to be mostly defined by the politics and war decades and decades later. When you talk about pivotal moments of the 1700s, most of the time you're talking about the politics and the war because that defines the era. But there's also the art and architecture and sports and the travel and adventure and exploration and politics and war and religion and all kinds of stuff like that. And we are really covering all of that. The literature, the medicine, you name it.
And we are going to pick up on things that we didn't have time to cover in our previous seasons. So things like the Anglo-Irish War, the shift towards autocracy in the Baltic states, the situation in Southeast Asia in countries that we didn't have.
The premiere of Zorro.
Absolutely.
Things like that. Things that we didn't cover in depth in Season 1.
In any case, it's going to be extremely exciting. And once again, on a final note, we have to thank the TimeGhost Army for making all of this possible and to make sure that we can do this content. And like we said earlier in the video, we are going to do this together with World of Warships, which is the first time that we're doing something really big. We've done one sponsoring before with another company, but this is the first time we're doing something really big with another company. But we have to be very clear about this. We're doing this only because it really, really fits into the series. And while they are helping us with some of the budget covering, this is not a commercial venture. This is a real partnership to bring the best possible content to you guys out there for the service of historiography. So we still need your support. So get on over there, join the TimeGhost Army, and be part of the greatest historical adventure on YouTube ever, ever, ever.
Okay, well, that is all we wanted to talk about today. Am I correct? Yes?
That is right.
All right, well, thank you for your support so far, and thank you in advance for your support to get the rest of this off the ground. And we'll see you next week with Between Two Wars Series 2.